Ministers, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, I'm Aron Cramer, President and CEO of BSR, and on behalf of BSR, I would like to thank the Republic of the Marshall Islands for extending an invitation to address this important gathering of the Pacific Islands Forum. I would especially like to acknowledge Minister de Brum for his foresight in facilitating a business contribution to this very important conversation. Although I can't be with you in person, let me say from the outset that we at BSR are with you in spirit and in purpose. Like you, BSR aspires to a world in which all people can live prosperous, dignified lives within the Earth's boundaries. Like you, we are very alarmed by current emission trends, which place us on a pathway to temperature increases in the range of 4 degrees Celsius by the end of this century. We're deeply concerned by what this would mean for biodiversity, for ecosystems, and for the vulnerable populations in particular who depend on these resources for their livelihoods and their homes. To this end, we are committed to catalyzing low-carbon, climate-resilient development through collective action by all, including urgent, ambitious, and practical business leadership. Business has the capacity to substantially reduce the greenhouse gases that drive climate change, while also strengthening the resilience of vulnerable communities to inevitable climate impacts, generating ongoing economic development. Ideally, business leadership should take 4 forms. First and foremost, business can lead by driving emissions reductions and building resilience through their own operations, notably through their use of energy and influencing their supply chains. They can also provide a financial stimulus to low-carbon development through their procurement policies, and in the case of the financial sector, by guiding investments toward low-carbon sources of energy. Second, businesses can lead by being examples within their own industries and peer groups. Pioneers who go further, faster, and demonstrate that profitability and global stewardship are not mutually exclusive create beacons for others to follow. And experience of recent years also suggests that those companies are the ones who succeed most fully in the marketplace. Third, business can become more vocal in helping to shape a positive policy framework for low-carbon development. They can do this by ensuring that they're speaking out in support of ambitious climate action at all levels, locally, nationally, regionally, and through the United Nations process. Business has a voice, and this voice can be quite powerful. Fourth, business can become more active in building resilience by enhancing natural capital, providing livelihood options to vulnerable communities, and improving natural defenses against climate impacts. Business can also look to integrate concern for climate and other sustainability questions into financial reporting, a step that would make great progress happen much more quickly. For all this to happen, we need to take a number of steps. First, there's a pressing need to translate climate for business. Too much of the best work on climate is written by scientists for other scientists, or by public sector specialists for public sector audiences. We need to develop an actionable climate literature that speaks to the specific needs of different industries and helps to convey the practical downside risks of unrestrained climate change and the upside opportunities that come from a transition to low-carbon economic development. Second, we need to develop a wedges approach to emissions reductions across individual industries as a collection of mutually enforcing actions that will be more manageable, more palatable, and more cost-efficient than the elusive silver bullet. Third, we need to do a better job of aligning public policy incentives with a low-carbon trajectory. Too many of the regulatory and financial incentives continue to promote energy-intensive practices rather than their low-carbon alternatives. There are too few rewards for the companies that embrace this transition to low-carbon development, and unfortunately the costs remain too low for those who maintain the status quo. For our part, BSR is constructing a substantial body of work around the theme of business in a climate-constrained world that aims to hold global mean temperature increases to 2 degrees Celsius above pre-industrial levels. Through BSR's formidable business network of more than 275 companies globally, along with our global footprint, industry insights, and 2 decades of working with business and stakeholders on sustainable development, we can provide unique ways of catalyzing business leadership on climate during this very decisive decade. We look forward to working with all stakeholders, including the exceptional leaders gathered in Majuro, in meeting this challenge head-on and safeguarding people, planet, and prosperity. The central challenge of the 21st century is getting this question right. We stand ready to catalyze business leadership and work with all stakeholders to meet that challenge. So I want to thank you again very much for the opportunity to contribute to your meeting, and I want to send my warmest greetings from San Francisco.